Hi everyone, how are you? Today I chose to focus on a topic that has been bothering me for some time and that I found extremely interesting and applicable. Now, I used Prezi to convey my message because I found it to be a clean, clear way of presenting my material. And as soon as it loads, I'll show you, they also had an extremely cute social media background, which I thought fit in perfectly to convey my message. Now, my question is our technology dependence decreasing our social skills? Technology can be extremely distracting. Now, it happens to be a personal pet peeve of mine that wherever I go, whether it be college, school, the supermarket, or a restaurant, there's a common denominator. Everyone is on their phones at all times of the day and night. Well, the constant obsession of checking Facebook accounts, Twitter, and Gmail on a minute-by-minute basis harm good old-fashioned social interaction. I find it extremely upsetting that whenever I would like to have a conversation with my friends, their heads are down talking on their phones. Now, that's in a restaurant, that's in college. People have been casting away conversation and communication and throwing it to the wayside. And in place, technology and smartphones have become the norm. Now, I chose to quote Brianna Ellenson about a quote she wrote in The Breeze about how technology equals having a loss of a relationship. Now, I could not have said this better myself. Technology may have been important in helping our world connect, but is simultaneously responsible for the rapid loss of relationships. Our priorities have been shifted, and our attention is focused on acquiring the newest version of the iPhone rather than maintaining our relationships. Although we may pride ourselves on being technologically savvy, when does this turn into technologically obsessive? And I agree with her. Tragically enough, our obsession with technology is now higher in importance than paying attention in classes directed to help us with our careers. Until we sever our dependence with technology, we may be doomed to becoming a society that rejects the value of social interaction. Now, nowadays, primarily, the way people communicate is through texting. Texting cannot replace talking, no matter what people say. In many articles I've read, surveys show the preference of using the phone for texting over talking. Texting language is often made up of slang vocabulary, not to mention improper grammar and usage. So these are the 3 questions I chose to focus on, and I'm going to be giving you a little bit of food for thought. If most Americans are texting the majority of the day, what will their conversations look like, right? If you're so used to writing TTYL and LOL, when they really have to have a real conversation, what's that going to look like? Also, when they need to interact face-to-face, will it be awkward and hard to keep a proper conversation going? In our classrooms, will students have a proper mastery of our English language and a proper understanding of how to interact socially between peers and teachers? Now, smartphones can do a lot, but smartphones cannot teach you how to interact socially with others. And that's a key component that is missing in today's classrooms nowadays. Now, I chose to focus on a cell phone relationship quality test that I found online to be extremely interesting. I'm not going to be reading this word for word, but I'm just going to give a brief summary to you. A recent set of studies was taken by 2 professors in the University of Essex that proves that cell phones can have a negative effect on relationships. Now, what did they do? They took 2 strangers. They put them in a booth together. Okay, so stranger sitting here, and they're in a little desk with a booth. And they were given 2 things to talk about. One was a casual conversation, and one was a more intimate conversation. Now, what did they did not know is a cell phone was lying on a desk out of their line of vision. Maybe they saw it, maybe they didn't, but a cell phone was near them. Now, it was reported that the cell phone did not affect any casual conversation that took place. So if they were talking about the weather, if they recycle, Knowing that the cell phone was there didn't matter in casual conversations. But when it came to discussing more intimate topics, such as their goals for the year, marriages, raising children, the cell phone really distracted having an intimate conversation. And in contrast, there were significant differences if the topic was of meaningful quality. The pairs who spoke with a cell phone nearby reported that their relationship quality was worse. The pairs also reported feeling less trust and thought that their partner showed less empathy if there was a cell phone even present in the room. We're not talking that they were on it. It was just present and lying there. The quality of the conversation was not the same having a cell phone lying in the room. I thought this study was wow. Now, there were a lot of solutions to this problem written up in many articles I read, and many books discuss it. But what I chose to focus on was 30 minutes a day. I think it's realistic, and I think it can make a world of a difference. Many articles have been written about the power of turning off your smartphone for 30 minutes a day. Now, we are not talking about the 30 minutes between 4 and 4:30 a.m. while you are most likely sleeping. Try to pick a time that is most used for communication with friends or family, whether it be around the breakfast table or a Friday night dinner. Without phone distractions, people are able to focus better on communication and dialogue skills. Your quality of life and relationships are bound to be strengthened this way. Now, I know myself, it's hard. It is so hard to turn off that phone for 30 minutes. But in those 30 minutes, you will not know what to do with yourself. You are actually going to have to communicate and talk to people. What a weird concept. So I think 30 minutes a day is attainable, and I think that after the build-up every single day, it really, really can make a difference. Now, I chose to focus on an article about restaurants that are catching on. Another pet peeve of mine is when I go out to eat with friends or family, instead of communicating with each other, everyone's heads are in their phones. Now, meal times used to be a time to connect, a time to catch up, a time to talk things through. Now, I found an article about Ibrahim, who is the owner of a restaurant outside of Abu Ghosh, which is outside of the beautiful city of Jerusalem. Now, he opened up a restaurant in 1993, and he said it really, really bothers him. Mealtimes are normally used for connecting with friends, relatives, and family, and instead people had their heads buried in their phones to the point where they didn't even realize that their meal had been brought to them, and they had to send it back to the kitchen to be reheated because they were so busy texting. He came up with the novel concept of turning off your phones while you're in the restaurant, and you receive 50% off of your bill. 50%. Now, who would not want 50% off their bill? He is not the only restaurateur with this idea. I actually Googled this concept, and many restaurants in America are starting to catch on. I saw Groupons, I saw discounts. Restaurants are slowly trying to have their clients and the people eating in the restaurant break away from talking on the phone and to start enjoying and eating and communicating with each other. Now, in order to do this, they have to, give something in return. Now, not all restaurants in the USA are willing to give 50% off, but a lot of them have different deals that can be worked out in order to turn off the phone and to have better communication. Now, another key item when it comes to technology is parents raising their children. Now, parents with young children, I cannot even stress to you the importance of turning off that phone and talking to your children. And like I wrote under this adorable picture, all they want is a bedtime story. All your children want is to communicate with you. And if you are busy talking and texting, that's not going to happen. In an article written by The Telegraph, mothers and fathers have been warned to turn off gadgets in the home, especially before bedtime. This will create more opportunity to talk to children about their day and to read stories and to have bonding time together. Schools throughout Britain will hand out a pamphlet telling parents that they play a vital role in making sure children develop proper communication and listening skills at a young age. Young age children, meaning children in elementary school, children in middle school, even children in high school. They're impressionable. That's the time that proper communication skills are formed. Parents are responsible for teaching their children how to interact socially and how to communicate. If parents are always on their phone, that message is not going to be given over. Proper communication skills can help children to improve their reading comprehension and grammar skills. They can help social skills in and out of the classroom. And it can help children to display their feelings and emotions. Communication skills are so important. We cannot minimize teaching our children communication skills. Here are my sources. There has been so many amazing articles written up about if technology dependence is decreasing our social skills. Some solutions to the problem are, just to reiterate, turning off your phone for 30 minutes a day, turning off your phones in restaurants and actually communicating with family members, turning off your phones when your children come home from school and giving them the attention that they need. Hopefully, if we have less dependence on technology and more focus on communication, the world will become a much better and easier place in which to communicate and to live. Thank you.